Hi everybody, welcome to the 4 to 5. I'm Eric Chilton. We're in downtown Greensboro where we're going to talk about something called the Borough. You're going to know that logo and that saying before the next week is out. And we'll explain what all this is coming up, guys. I know you're excited about it.
I'm excited. I'm so jealous, Eric. I wish that I was outside. The weather, it's feeling great today. Welcome to you all at home watching WFMY News 2 on Fire Stick, Roku, and the WFMY News 2 app.
And as you can see, Eric's not with us in the studio right now. He's just out and about enjoying the day. He's going to tell us where he is anchoring from today.
So yeah, let's talk about this for a minute. And again, when you talk about the borough, like we've heard that name, right? People use that as a name for Greensboro, but now it's taking on new meaning. And of course, when I decide to talk, the motorcyclists go by because that's my luck. Zach Matheny with Downtown Greensboro Incorporated is going to join us. We're talking about this. I mean, this logo is going to mean something in about 2 or 3 days, right?
Well, it means something starting today. This is the beginning of our social district for which we're calling the borough, where we can have an adult beverage and stroll the streets and go in retail shops.
This is great. So the idea, and we're going to talk more about this, the idea is that you could take this and walk around with your drink, alcoholic or not, and go in different stores and venues, and we'll chat about this a little bit more coming up in just a minute. This is exciting stuff.
Yeah, I cannot wait to check that out. And we'll check back in with Eric in just a moment, but let's go ahead and get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Right now, 30 people are without a home after a fire ravaged through an apartment complex. Officials say it happened last night at the Copper Mill Village community off of Copperstone Drive in High Point. This is video of the damage, and you can see the breezeway is charred, debris and personal belongings scattered everywhere. Firefighters even had to rescue 5 people on the upper floor from the windows. Most of the victims are adults, although some pets were impacted as well. Several people were taken to a hospital. Thankfully, all are okay. Officials are still investigating the cause. Well, today we're seeing major improvements in Guilford County hospitalization metrics. Take a look at your screen right now. We're tracking just 33 patients, 9 fewer than yesterday. It's the lowest number the county has reported since last July, nearly 8 months ago. Around that time, the county actually stopped reporting patient numbers because they were so low. The gaps are, of course, weekends and holidays when the county doesn't report this number.
Right now, there's just one triad school district left that isn't mask optional. Lexington City Schools still requires their students to wear masks inside buildings, but that could soon change. Tonight, the school board will discuss the mandate. Stick with WFMY News 2 to find out what comes of that meeting. Here's a live look from Washington, D.C., where in just a few hours, President Joe Biden will deliver his first State of the Union address. Normally, the speech serves as a victory lap for presidential progress, but it's likely tonight's speech will start with the crisis in Ukraine. Other topics expected to come up are rising inflation costs and the push to pass the White House's Build Back Better agenda. The address begins tonight at 9. We will stream it in its entirety live on the air.
You know, I'm sure you've heard about this and we've talked about it for weeks leading up to this. And what is a social district? A lot of people asking that. And what does the borough, that little logo, have to do with all this? Now we'll get Zach to chat with us a little bit. And I mean, this is kind of a game changer for downtown, especially for nightlife.
It really is. And one of the things that the state legislature actually put this in was working with the North Carolina Retail Association. So it's like, how can we make it easier and more fun for folks to come in and support our retail establishments that have been struggling so much through COVID? And they said, having a drink while shopping, maybe that'll help people spend.
Well, and we think about this too, so describe how it works. If I go into one of these restaurants, we're in front of Natty Green's right now, but if they're participating, what happens?
So you can go in, you can literally grab a drink to go, glass of wine, anything that you want, and walk down the streets of Elm, which is really this district, and go into, say, Just Be or another retail shop, and if they allow you to come in, you can have that drink.
And it's okay to take that into another establishment that sells food and drink?
That's the caveat.
Oh, okay, I didn't know this.
That's a good one. So if I'm at Natty Green's and I go to, say, Crafted, where both of those are participating, and they both have ABC, so I can't go in without finishing that drink.
See, the train driver's excited, for goodness sake. That's what's going on here. We're going to talk more about this coming up a little bit and some of the other shops that are participating.
Now this is so exciting. As they were saying, that money, people are going to start spending money while they're out drinking. That might be like the plan here, right? Get a couple drinks in you, so you shop till you drop.
I think this is going to be such a great thing for downtown Greensboro. We've talked about how the Tanger Center has already brought so much to downtown Greensboro, and I think adding this is just going to create even more for us. I mean, people can go around downtown and then walk down to the Tanger Center. I think it's going to be fun. And Chilton,
Yeah, I think go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just checking in. See how you're
we're
doing
checking
out
in.
there.
I thought you were going to have something to say.
I thought you guys were leaving me in the dust. No, I mean, basically, it's just fun, the fact that when they have street festivals and they block the street off, you expect that. But now you can do it anytime, and it's 12 to 9, 7 days a week. And I mean, that's the way it's going to be, and it really does. It is a game changer. It makes it more of a festive atmosphere. It cuts off at 9 o'clock. But I think this is great for businesses. Everybody likes that sip and shop kind of thing, and I think this is big for that.
It also gives people something to do. A lot of times you're like, what can we do? Well, just go downtown and walk around a little bit. And walking is always a great activity.
And people that maybe feel uneasy about it, I mean, it does have specific times. So like Chilton said, 12 to 9. So know that everything will be done by 9, of course, as far as the walking around goes. It
absolutely perfect.
I see a lot of blue out there. I see Eric blue behind him in the sky there, that nice sky blue. I also see Lauren and Stacy beautifully dressed in blue, and I also spy some blue out here as we look downtown Greensboro. Current temperature at 63 degrees, and we look over to Burlington, and they're sharing those blue skies as well, but also fairly windy conditions. This is much different than earlier today where winds were quite calm. But now as we look to these flags really nicely waving there, we're starting to see some wind gusts pushing through the area. At times we've seen wind gusts roughly between 18, even 20 miles per hour through this afternoon. And as we go through the next couple of days, it will be fairly breezy at times. So take a notice how winds are roughly between 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the west, coming from the west, sending things towards the east. Now, as we go towards the afternoon tomorrow, so this is looking at 4 p.m. Wednesday, we're seeing wind gusts again around that 15 to 20 mile per hour range. Copy and paste one more day thereafter to your Thursday. And by the afternoon, we once again have winds out of the west between 15 and 20 mile per hour wind gusts. That is for the afternoon. So we're not only talking about how warm it is, how sunny it is, but also how the winds will be fairly gusty at times. Today is the first official day of meteorological spring, and I'm excited about it because this forecast speaks to exactly what that is. Spring weather. I'll be talking all about it coming up.
What's your name, Catherine? What?
Mic check, Jalen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's up, Brad?
The train. Okay. No, that's what I was telling you in the text. I didn't get a chance to get it, but I know the basic gist. He's talking about patience, right? Okay, yeah, that's fine. And then my next interview will be inside, so we don't have to worry about the train this time, thank goodness. Okay, so just Uday in this one? Yeah, I'll be inside as well, just so we can hear.
It's going down in Greensboro. Tomorrow kicks off the 45th Women's ACC Tournament.
That's right. The bracket is set and the tickets are on sale. So much excitement is brewing in the city as talented ladies from across the country get ready to hit the court.
Leading up to tip-off, several women are receiving their much-deserved accolades. And get this, 3 of them have ties right here in the Triad.
So Jalen, the Triad is just bursting with excellence.
That is right, ladies. And Northwest Guilford alum and Virginia Tech center Elizabeth Kitley, she was named All-ACC First Team and ACC Player of the Year. She was joined by NC State center and Northern Guilford's Alyssa Cunane on that first team as well. But they weren't alone. Wake Forest's main bucket getter and the ACC's leading scorer, Jules Spear, also received first team honors. Now, Kitley, she is just a junior at Virginia Tech, but her resume is already quite impressive. 2-time ACC All-Academic Team. In 2021, she was named ACC All-Tournament Team, second team. She set a program record for most points in a game when she dropped 34 against George Washington this season, and now she can add ACC Player of the Year to that list as well. And former Nighthawk, Alyssa Cunane, now she very easily could have won Player of the Year if not for Kitley. She was named a second-team AP All-American this season, was selected ACC Tournament MVP at last year's tournament, and she also was named All-ACC Academic Team as well. And as for Wake Forest's super sophomore Jules Spear, she became the 5th player in program history to receive this honor. Last season as a freshman, she was a part of the All-ACC Academic Team. She led the conference in scoring, averaging 18.4 points per game this year, and was second in both three-point percentage and three-pointers made per game.
Man, these women, they are incredible. I know that I could never do what they did. As far as basketball goes, I have no skill set.
No jump shot, Stacey?
No.
I think you could do it with your heels on.
Nah. I'm meant to stay on the sidelines cheering them on. That's what I'm good
Lauren,
at.
my question for you is, what does your jumper look like?
My jumper is good.
Your jumper tight? Oh, look at that.
Okay.
But, you know, I got a little skill there, but.
Lauren leaves it like this.
Eric,
That's what
please
she does.
save
Just
us.
leaves it like that.
Wait, no! You didn't like that? I thought that was smooth.
I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you what I love about that is the periphery, not just the games, but all the periphery and the stuff that goes on around it. Because there's like tonight you can hear live music, and that is so much fun too. They make these tournaments like for everybody. You don't have to be a basketball fan to love this.
Mm-hmm. What I thought was really impressive about this is that a couple of them made that academic team. You know, being a student athlete is already difficult enough. You know, you got to be on it on the court, but also on it in the classroom as well. So just really commendable what these ladies are doing.
Yeah, and that's also really hard when you're a student athlete. I was one myself, and having to balance doing workouts, doing going to games. Sometimes they're away and you're traveling and you miss class.
Yep.
So it's really hard. So great job to them.
Many kudos to those wonderful ladies.
And Jalen needs to hold that jump shot, just like that, little follow through right there. Hey, you know what? We're talking about this, the borough tonight in the social district. And the weather, we've been waiting for really good weather, which it is perfect over the next few days. And that requires patience, right? That's kind of a virtue, as they say. And today, Coach Lamont is talking about the importance of patience and how we all need to exercise that in our lives.
A Chinese proverb states, "A little impatience will spoil great plans." Now, you have dreams and goals, right? But there are moments when it seems nothing is moving according to plan. This can lead to painful sacrifice, and at moments we sink into a hole of impatience. Now, I know this firsthand. Can you believe there was a time that I actually almost gave up on U-Day? It seemed the road was so long and I was losing steam, and impatience became my mindset. This hurt the potential that I was realizing for my dream, and the fruit of impatience I found myself eating, and it was robbing me of my peace. See, I exchanged impatience for patience, and eventually what I desired manifested. Give yourself time and don't grow weary. It's going to happen, I promise you. Now is not the time to quit. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best U-Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
I like how you mentioned, you know, don't give up, that it might not, that it could eventually happen. But I always keep in my mind, like, if it doesn't happen now, if God says no now, that it's because he's preparing me for something else that he's going to say yes to.
I always think that about patience too. I think we have to think about, what can I do in my now moment? How do I embrace my now and be the best that I can be, so when I do receive that blessing, I'm ready for it and I won't take it for granted.
You know, for me, I will be totally honest, it is one of my biggest faults. I am one of the most impatient people in the world. Just ask my family. So it's something I have to work on. But if you think about it, you have to learn that. You really need to learn that as a child. It starts that early, you know, with discipline and that type of thing. And I think, not saying I wasn't disciplined, but I wasn't disciplined. So that's the big problem.
Yeah, and I love how Coach Lamont, even he said he really wanted to make U Day happen, and it just wasn't happening, but it finally did. And now look at it. It's touching so many people here in the Triad every time we air it on the 4 to 5.
Just imagine where it could go from here. We're going national, Coach Lamont.
So exciting. You know what? I know where we need to go from here. We need to go outside to downtown Greensboro. That's what we need to do, yes. Applaud that. We're going to be talking about this social district and the borough coming up in just a minute with some of the business owners here and how they're taking advantage of this. Where's that mic?
Right there?
Yep. You want to turn? Don't worry about those supers because I have to do them after this one. There's somebody else here, but we don't have time for the super, so just roll with it.
Stacey, you know, leave it to Eric Chilton to find the fun even on a Tuesday. He's out and about while we're stuck inside.
Yeah, is Turn Up Tuesday a thing, or
Yeah.
is that Thursday? We can make it a thing. Chilton's in downtown Greensboro, where the new social district concept is happening as we speak. So, how's it going so far?
Yeah, I'm passing that along, Stacey, that Turn Up Tuesday. I like that. They'll adopt that probably. I'll talk to Zach Matheny about that. Catherine's with us today. She owns Just Be, which is where we're in right now. My kids call it the bubble place because it has a little bubble maker on the outside. So for you, I mean, you know, you don't sell food and drink. How do you think this is going to affect you guys?
I think it's just going to give us a lot more foot traffic. People are going to be more likely to want to walk around with a beer than just sit in a bar all night. Yeah, I think just foot traffic is what we're looking forward to. People coming in, spending a little bit more if they're drinking a little bit more.
Yeah, that does happen sometimes. What's been the buzz with other owners around here? Excitement?
We're all excited. I mean, we don't really see a downside. I think it's just going to get people to explore other stores and go in other bars and just explore more of the whole of downtown.
Don't you think, to me, it's an atmosphere, right? I mean, it creates a feeling, a mode.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
it makes you feel more at home if you can just walk into a store with a beer and you don't have to worry about any regulations.
And just relax a little bit and hang out. And it runs, you know, from noon to 9 every day. So if you think about that, I mean, that's a lot of retail shopping time that could happen here. I mean, are you guys excited about that? The time frame is good.
Yeah, we'll be here most of that time, so we'll be able to serve people in the community then.
Do you think does that change what you do at all? I mean, is there a way to cater to that, and, or do you think it's really more of a foot traffic?
You know, it might make us think about staying open even an hour later, because we normally close at 8 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays, so we might think about staying a little bit longer if people are going to be out longer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's interesting. I didn't think of. I always wondered how the business owners, how would they deal with this, because they're excited about. It's not just bringing people in. It really is kind of a feeling for downtown Greensboro. So this is really cool. We're going to talk to some of the other folks around here and chat with Zach Matheny of Downtown Greensboro Incorporated again coming up. We'll be right back. Stay there. More of the 4 to 5 straight ahead. Last second that I didn't know I was.
It is Fat Tuesday, y'all, meaning people down south are partying it up with beads, king cake, and parades ahead of Ash Wednesday. I asked you on my Facebook page what you're giving up for Lent this year. Mandy is going to strive to be more into God's Word and giving of her time to studying Him more and to add a devotional time to her day. For Joe, it's power naps. I don't know if I'd give up a nap though. Sherry is giving up cookies and chocolate, but she also has a goal to have more quiet time with the Lord. Kenny jokes writing, "Nothing, I have enough lint in my pants pocket, LOL." And Meg says, "I'm giving up Starbucks, save some money and calories." That's a really good idea. I have not thought of yet, which I'm very much so procrastinating, what I want to give up for Lent. I would really like to give up social media just because I feel like I spend way too much time on that. But also it's a huge part of our job, so I'd have to navigate a way to, balance that time. And maybe I can only get on social media for work purposes.
You could totally do that, because last year I did a 21-day fast at the beginning of the year, and what I did was I put my notifications, turned them off for my Instagram, which is my personal account. I hid the app so then I wouldn't get notifications when people were liking stuff, and then I used Facebook Suites. So Facebook Suites allows you to only use your work Facebook, not your personal.
Okay, Lauren got us all.
So there's a way to get around it.
We didn't do this growing up, not in my church, so I was not familiar with it as much until I went to college, and a lot of my friends, especially my friends that were Catholics, they would talk about this. And so I thought about this for a while, and you guys kind of stole my thunder there, because social media would be the number one thing that I know I need to back off, because my YouTube rabbit hole is way too deep.
I remember in high school for Lent, I gave up fast food. And that was so difficult, because there would be days that my parents didn't cook and my mom would come home with something and I'd be like, I can't eat that, it's fast food. And she would be like, why did you choose that as an option? But for me, I felt like that was something I wanted to give up, and it was difficult, and it's all about picking something that you actually enjoy to sacrifice that time.
I gave up soda one year, and I think that was so great, because I've never drank so much soda. No, Chilton, am I giving you an idea?
I know. Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. That's what I need to do. Go ahead and tell them what it is that I love so much.
That Mountain Dew. Was that your Mountain Dew that's in the break room fridge? There's like a huge 2-liter bottle. And I saw that when I put my lunchbox in. And I was like, so who has this huge bottle? It has to be
this
Eric.
guy.
So what is yours?
I got mad because it wasn't it's never in the vending machine, so I bought a 2-liter Diet Mountain Dew. Don't drink it.
I think you figured out what you're going to give up.
Let's talk. I don't doubt you've outed me. Let's talk about our forecast and see what Monique has. It looks really good for all this outdoor activity we'll be talking about tonight.
Alrighty then. So as we look to our satellite and radar, things are quiet across our area. And as we widen our view, though, take notice well to the north and east, where there is some extreme active weather. I mean, rain, even looks like snow and sleet up there. Zooming in a little bit closer, folks are cold and dealing with the wintry mix. We're lucky enough, it feels like the season that it is, and that is spring. As high pressure remains in place across the southeast, that's why we're going to be dry and quiet through the next couple of days. Now, a backdoor cold front, what we call when the cold front kind of slides down from the north, is what's going to happen on Thursday, and that could invite some colder air for your Friday and really change the pace of weather as we go throughout the day on Friday. Haven't shown the 7-day yet, but here you have it. You can see these temperatures very warm, but you can see that lonely Friday quite cooler as compared to the rest. But you can see as we go towards the weekend, those temperatures rebound right up, right around 80 degrees nearly on Monday. But you also see that does include a rain chance. More details on what else you can expect coming up.
Hey. Okay. I am talking about Bravery.
I have my mic up too. Why do you have my mic up too?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination.
For a second, yeah.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. I'm Stacey Spivey here in the studio with Lauren Coleman, Monique Robinson, and Eric Chilton is out somewhere. We'll find out in just a second.
He's always having all the fun. Welcome to the 4 to 5 on WFMY News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and the WFMY News 2 app. And we're also on Facebook, y'all, so make sure you come join the conversation.
Yeah, you can see those blue skies out there. It's really a pretty day, and Eric is enjoying it in the best way possible.
Yeah, we're hanging out in downtown Greensboro. Ton of fun. So coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk a little bit more about what people are calling the social district. They're calling it the borough here in Greensboro. But a social district basically is a place where you can shop and have fun. That sip and stroll and shop kind of idea is alive and well, and it started today. We're at Little Brothers here brewing in downtown Greensboro, but that's just one of many places that you can stroll around with your drink in your hand, and that starts today from 12 to 9 o'clock. We'll give you all the details and what it means for not only some of the people just having fun, but downtown businesses, and we'll see what Downtown Greensboro Incorporated thinks about it as
well. The rent prices are going up, but the wages are not going up.
We're paying more for almost everything these days. Groceries, gas, and now rent. The rise in rent frustrates many of us. Temple Whitaker lives at the Traybrook Village Apartments in Greensboro. She tells me her rent recently went up $100 per month, totaling $1,400. As a single mother of two, working 2 jobs and taking college courses, she says she's barely making ends meet as it is.
It's not making sense to me. They have to make it make sense in order for, I'm not sure who it's making sense for, but for the productive residents of the community, it doesn't make sense.
Is not alone. According to Realtor.com, nationwide rent prices are up nearly 20% compared to last year. Money expert Janae Adams says before picking up another job or taking on extra hours, there are some simple things renters can do to make up for the increase in rent.
One thing that people can do when it comes to trying to deal with these rent increases when it comes to their budget or their spending plan is to start to look at things that you might can cut back or cut out in the meantime to come up with that extra $100, that extra $200.
In addition to adjusting your spending plan, Adams says renters should have a savings account. She recommends having at least $1,500 saved if you ever find yourself in a bind.
If you can't save that much, try $500 and then move up to $1,000 and then move up to that $1,500, because that's really going to help you have, like I said before, that financial breathing room for things such as rent increases that can come up.
Adams also says selling clothes and household items that you may no longer use is an easy way to bring in some extra cash. So I asked you on Facebook if you've seen an increase in rent, and a lot of you responded. Jerry Whitesell says, my cousin's rents an apartment in Burlington. New owners bought the complex. Rent went up $78 a month last year and is going up $250 a month this summer. It's going to true market value, they said. Rose Martin says, yes, I do. My rent will go up at rent renewal. Jay McComan wrote, yes, 17% from the get-go. And then Cynthia Miller says, yep, mine will go up at least renewal $100. So as you can see, a lot of folks are going up like $100, $200, $300. That's a lot of money. We're not talking about the typical $25 increase.
Yeah, I mean, the train is literally sounding the alarm on these rent prices. It is just so wild. I mean, I think they're showing the train. Yeah, they just showed the train so we could see it really quick. But I mean, thankfully I'm in a position where I was able to buy a home. But for people that are renting, I know the struggle. It's very real, especially talking to people in Forsyth County. They're dealing with an affordable house crisis. And a lot of that's because these people are working, but like she said, the wages aren't adding up and they're not enough to pay for rent.
And what's also difficult is she was talking about, getting some assistance. Well, she does have 2 jobs and she says, I don't qualify for some of this assistance. So what do I do if my wages aren't going up and you guys are going up, $100, $200, $300, where does that put me? And I think in conversations I'm having with a lot of friends and other people, they're feeling the same about this.
I will tell you that what she said about, now that the train is gone, what she said about selling items, you really can make a lot of extra money if you go through your attic, basement, closet, whatever the storage space is, you can make a lot of money with just yard sales. I mean, we've done that before and made several $100s. I know you can't do that every month, but at least it helps that somewhat.
And taking advantage of like Facebook Marketplace.
I was just about to mention
Think of some
that.
of like the DVDs you might not watch anymore, or certain electronics that you don't use anymore that could probably get you an extra $30, $40. So.
That's right. Or maybe skip the Starbucks tomorrow morning, something like that. Well, let's go ahead and move on to some other news today. Now to the latest on the crisis happening right now in Ukraine. Just hours ago, President Joe Biden spoke with Ukrainian President Zelensky following a Russian attack in a major city. During the call, the leaders discussed continued support for Ukraine, including security assistance and humanitarian aid. Right now, several sanctions against Russia are in effect, and the president says they're devastating their economy. But due to the vast difference in military power between the warring countries, some lawmakers are worried about how long Ukrainians can keep up the fight.
We need to give them a chance to survive. Otherwise, they have no chance. We'll have millions of people killed.
It's devastating. As Russian troops intensify, millions of people are in danger, including the smallest of them all, babies. This is video from one Ukrainian city just 12 miles from south of the border of Russia, where a local hospital had to move the maternity ward to a bomb shelter for safety. The Russian military has consistently denied targeting residential areas, but there is abundant evidence of shelling of apartments, schools, and hospitals. Ukrainian authorities reported at least 7 deaths and dozens of injuries, but fear actual figures could be much higher.
So right now, several Ukrainians from all walks of life are stepping up in the name of pride and bravery. Here's some video from a metro station in Ukraine, and that's being used as a bomb shelter right now as thousands try to stay clear of attacks from Russia. Reporters on the ground say when children start to cry, adults sing the national anthem to quiet them. It originates from a 19th century Ukrainian poem titled "Ukraine is Not Dead Yet." So even though Russia has more resources than Ukraine, the Ukrainian people have shown the world their bravery, stepping up to protect their country. Blanca Cobb, who has a master's degree in psychology, joins us live to further this discussion. Blanca, what is it about bravery that captures our attention?
People tend to underestimate everyday people's bravery. If you think about the images that we see, fictional characters or superheroes and books and movies, right? Or we think about people with specialized training like those in the military or firefighters. We just don't think about everyday people who can be so brave. But here's the deal though, we have our limbic system, and our limbic system kicks in when there's a threat, and that's either your fight or your flight response. And that's where a lot of that comes from.
So you also say commitment is an important component of bravery. Explain that. What do you mean by that?
When you have a commitment to something larger than yourself, then you don't tend to think about fear. For example, if you're fighting for your country or your children, what are you going to do? You don't think about yourself and the danger you can put yourself into because you're focused on something that is much larger than yourself. You stick to that commitment, to that dedication. Think about all the images that we have seen of Ukrainian women as well as men who are holding firearms. They're thinking about their country, they're thinking about their children, and they're thinking about the future. And that's where that power comes in, that bravery comes in.
This is definitely a topic that's going to be on the minds of lots of us for quite some time now. So thank you so much for those pointers. You can continue the conversation with Blanca on her Facebook page, Blanca Cobb, Body Language Expert.
You could not ask for more perfect weather than what we're seeing right now. I mean, I can tell you honestly, I probably don't even need this jacket, but I don't like my shirt, so I wore it. We're in the mid-60s today, and it looks like we're going to be seeing great weather through the weekend for most of the days. Monique, what's it look like?
Well, today is the first official day of spring. According to meteorologists, you can see that is from the start of March all the way to the end of May. Now, astronomers, they categorize that a little bit differently. For 2022, that begins March 20th, the spring solstice that is, and then we're looking at the equinox. Once again, the equinox now, we're looking at the solstice once we start out the summer months. It kind of flip-flops between solstice and equinox. As we look towards these temperatures, though, as we transition through each of these seasons, temperatures are going to be warmer and warmer and warmer all the way through the end of May. So you can see, look at that. 80s. That's when we really should be feeling those by the end of the May. But as we look towards this 7-day, we're going to be seeing some warmer temperatures here. Now, 70s are in store for Wednesday and Thursday. The weekend, we're looking a little bit cooler, but by next week, we're talking warmer temperatures right around where they should feel by the end of May. So we're actually, it's unseasonably warm, and we'll actually feel quite muggy as these dew points right around that humid range as we start out next week, Sunday into Monday, all ahead of this cold front that's going to be making its way through across the area. That cold front also bringing in the moisture and allowing for some rain chances also to be added onto our forecast. Here is that full 7-day. So we're talking spring-like weather for most of this week, although astronomers say we're not looking for that equinox all the way until spring, starting on March 20th.
We talked about this during the show. It's exciting. It's called a social district, but we're calling it the borough here in Greensboro. And it allows you to take a drink from the establishment, say hello to the people blowing the horn, and walk around and visit some of the establishments with your drink in your hand. So Zach Matheny with Downtown Greensboro Incorporated, how do we know where we go into and how do we do this?
You know, we've tried to get as much signage out as we could, and so there's restrictions. There's a map that'll be on our website, downtowngreensboro.org, and you have boundaries. It really goes from Gate City all the way up North Elm Street to the Tanger Center and really to other restaurants.
Wow.
And so you can pop in a Little Brother or Natty's, Gray's right here on the corner of Hamburger Square, grab a drink, come to Decide Archives, and you see a little sign that says
let's
welcome.
take a look at that. So that's what we look for, right?
Exactly. You look for that sign that says welcome, and then you can go in and shop or stroll up the street to the Tanger Center and hit your show.
I mean, if you think about that, there's not that rush that people feel like I got to get to the Tanger because I'm going to, you can now just kind of take your time and work your way down.
That's exactly, and that was really the purpose of the state legislature doing this. And Greensboro, really, we got national coverage on this 2 weeks ago because we're one of the first cities in the state of North Carolina to really push this forward. And so it's innovative. It's the first day. We'll see how it goes, and I'm sure we'll learn as we go.
Sure. Doing this till 9 o'clock tonight, so you have plenty of time, folks, to get out and enjoy it.
It's called history, right? But in the month of March, the word is tweaked just a little bit so that it reads her story or her story, as there is a focus on women's history. All right, so March is a month for many kinds of different awarenesses, but right now we're looking at Women's History Month. Women's History Month, even you, Eric Chilton, celebrate Women's History Month.
Hey, I'm down with it. I'm down with it.
I know, right? You got a great wife, you've got a daughter, so you're like, I'm all about the whole Women's History Month. All right, girls, here we go. Women's History Month really started out back as a week in 1981. It became a whole month of awareness in 1987. Unlike many national days of whatever we have these days, this month was approved by Congress. There's a website dedicated to Women's History Month with all kinds of resources, pictures, collections, audio, and video. Now, here's what's happening on a local level. I'm going to guide you to this right here. The Greensboro History Museum has a free event. It is March 19th from 1 until 4, and it's called Voices of Greensboro Women. And you see them all in that picture, and here's how it kind of works.
As you walk through the galleries here at the Greensboro History Museum, don't be surprised if someone dressed as someone you might know or someone you may not be familiar with comes up and tells you about their life. Things that we enjoy economically would not be in place if it were not for the women in this society.
I love that they make it so interactive and relatable with the people acting as the historic figures.
I love that, especially when it comes to children and stuff, to really grab their attention. I think that's an awesome idea.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun and a great way to learn.
Oh,
go ahead,
I
Chilton.
couldn't hear you as well because the train was going by. Yeah, I apologize for that. It's hard to hear. But yeah, you mentioned, and it does make a difference. I have a daughter, right? So you think about these things. I talked to her. She did a project not too long ago, and they said, who are you going to do your project on? And she said, Susan B. Anthony. And I love the fact that we didn't say anything, and we weren't talking about women's history. That's who she chose. So it shows you that, everybody likes to look up to someone that they can identify with. This is great.
Absolutely. What'd you think?
I mean, I just think it's so important that this is put out there to see how far we have come from, years ago to now that we can be leaders. I mean, look, our vice president is a woman. I'm happy to say that our boss is a woman. And that's a lot of things that you wouldn't see happen years ago.
Right. Okay. So again, the free event is March 19th from 1 until 4. Now, something else, a little something sweet. Part of this month is a podcast, Women in Media, here in the Triad. You can listen to it from their website. You can go to the Discovery and Learn tab, and you'll see the podcast called History Notes. I got to tell you, you might hear somebody that you're familiar with. That would be me. My story debuts this week, but it will always be there in the archives along with the other great women in media. Now, here's the fun, sweet part. A sweet way to end this story of women's history. Hershey's is highlighting the she at the center of its iconic logo. Be on the lookout for these. They're not mass-produced, but Hershey says you can find the limited edition bars at stores nationwide.
Yeah, I know. She's got us all up in this.
You know, Stacey, we finally get a break from all this rain we've been having. A great day to finally be back outside.
Yeah, and look who gets to take advantage of it today. And you can take advantage of it as well with something really exciting happening in downtown Greensboro starting today, March 1st, the social district. But Chilton, I know a lot of people are having some concerns about, you know, if the safety aspect of this, can you just walk around and go in any business with a drink? Can you kind of explain what this is about?
Yeah, so basically, you look for that sticker that we showed you in the last hit when we were live. You can take your drink from any establishment that sells drinks, no matter what it is, right? Doesn't have to just be alcoholic drinks, but you can take that out and wander in and out of other establishments as long as they're participating and have that sticker. You look for that, and you can go in and out. So imagine you could kind of sip and stroll. I know that's been kind of an overused saying of late, but it is true. That shopping, sipping, strolling idea, almost like a street fair, but they're not blocking off the street. Now, this is a huge district. We're going from Gate City behind us all the way down Elm Street, past the Tanger Center, and to Battleground Underground Avenue, and also it goes this way over to Green Street. So all of that area, Carolina Theater, that entire region over there is in what they're calling the social district. Now that's a technical term, the social district, but they're calling it the borough, and it's 12 to 9, noon to 9 p.m. every single day. The idea, people say, is this going to be a safe environment? They think it will be. This is kind of a test run. I think it's a good idea. Big cities are doing it. Now Greensboro's doing it, one of the first in the state. We'll keep you posted on this, and we'll take a break more of the 4 to 5 straight ahead. Stay there.
I hope you've gotten a chance to enjoy this Tuesday outside, but if you haven't, there's more time to enjoy these clear skies and warm weather, at least for this evening, but it returns also tomorrow. This is not broken. This is just showing you the conditions are just plain old nothing happening. That's through tonight, and then as we go through the day on Wednesday to start out, skies continue to be clear, and then through Wednesday afternoon, no clouds in sight either. Those blue skies, those blue hues continue to fill our skies for the next couple of days, and then as we go to Thursday, we could see some additional cloud cover out there. But take notice how warm these temperatures are going to be Wednesday and Thursday in the 70s. Then we'll be dropping back down to much cooler conditions for your Friday and your Saturday, but the rain doesn't return until next week.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Hello, happy Fat Tuesday, everybody.
Fat Tuesday, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check, check, check. Mic check.
And then I'll. Yeah, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Or the restaurant, so there's a Natty's logo.
Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Sorry, we're having mic issues.
It's time for my 2 cents. My daughter Baylor is 8 months old today. I know I say it every month, but I just truly cannot believe it. I feel so incredibly lucky to call her mine. Just in the past month, I've really marveled at all of her milestones. She started crawling, she can now pull up on things and stand. She can also say dada and mama. Mama? Dada. Whoa! Last week, she cut her first tooth and now she has 2 teeth. Her giggle just makes my heart melt. I'm in awe of all she can do and how much she's learned in just 8 short months. But as I cheer her on as she learns new things, I'm thinking about all the babies overseas and their families. As we celebrate Baylor sleeping through the night, families in Ukraine are worrying about finding a safe place to sleep. As we watch her try spaghetti for the first time, families in Ukraine are not sure where their next meal will come from. As I pray over Baylor at night, I'm also praying for the families living through a nightmare. So I ask you, as you go through your week, think about the people overseas and say a prayer for the children trying to learn and grow in the middle of a war. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
A fire at a High Point apartment building caused extensive damage to several units, forcing 30 people out, many after they'd already gone to bed.
Firefighters say 5 people had to be rescued through windows on the upper floor.